So what made you start making comics? For me, I think I started wanting to make comics. As a young kid, I think I liked creating stories and whatnot. Thinking like first, second grade, somewhere around there, they used to make us do stuff in school where they would make us like I guess write stories on like construction paper, like just fold it up and write a short story on like each side, so it'd be like 4 sections almost. Like you fold a piece in half and just write a sentence or something on each page and tell a short story. And I was the psychotic kid in class that had to do too much, and I would fold like multiple pieces together and write a whole book. I think I did like it might have been like 10 pages about the Ninja Turtles. Like I would just do dumb stuff in school, but I liked telling stories as a kid. And what inspired me to actually make comics was watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid. I think like 11, 12 years old. Can almost pinpoint the exact time. It was in the middle of the Android saga where it clicked in my mind that I wanted to make comics. I got hooked into it watching Goku Super Saiyan transformation is when I became absolutely hooked. And then between Vegeta's Super Saiyan transformation and then Android 17 and 18, when they broke his arm. Sorry, when they broke his arm, that period in time for me was when it clicked in my mind that I wanted to start making comics. And it was from there, it was watching those episodes, and then I went to like a comic book shop when I was a kid and got like the Dragon Ball Z manga. Had to figure out why it was from right to left first, but I got the Dragon Ball Z manga, and when it was like, I realized that the stuff that I watch in cartoon form all the time is also in a comic book, because it's like in my mind I just saw stories and ideas taking place almost like a cartoon or an anime in my head. Once I saw like the actual comic of Dragon Ball in my hand, it made me want to go out and like create a comic, because it's almost like the ideas that I see on TV came from this comic, or it was translated from this comic. So it's almost like I can make my stories even though I'm almost seeing them in movie format, which is you see in pictures and stuff anyway. So it's almost like I can take that and put my stories on paper. So it just made me want to create stories and create comics as a young age. By the time I got into like high school, I got hooked on Naruto, and so that was it. I knew at some point I was gonna make my own comics. And I already had stories and stuff in my head too, so it was just a matter of when I was actually gonna make it. That's what inspired me, and that's what really made me want to make comic books at a young age. That's what created almost my passion and my desire to do it later in life. It's like I always liked comic books, but watching Dragon Ball Z, specifically that Android saga on Toonami, made me want to make comics. And just as a sidebar too, another thing that made me want to make comics is I got really sick of watching, and anybody who watched Toonami in late 90s, early 2000s know what I'm talking about. I wanted to read comics, and that inspired me to want to make comics even more, in part because I got sick of watching cartoons and watching the to be continued. Like it takes somebody like 3 episodes to transform, or it's taken a fight 15 episodes to like get going, or it took Namek like 30 episodes to blow up, even though it was supposed to be 5 minutes. Like I got sick of that, so I read the manga. It made me want to read the comics more, and that made me want to like make my own comics more. That was more of a rant those last few seconds, but oh my god, was that frustrating. But it made me want to read the mangas more, which in turn made me want to make my own comics more. So I guess those long-winded to be continued episodes helped me out somehow. But all this ranting aside, let me know in the comments below what inspired all of you, whoever watches this video, whenever you watch it. What made you want to create comics? What makes you want to make comic book? If you have some already, what made you want to make your own comic book? And if you're looking to start making one, what sort of is driving you, or what has motivated you to want to go out and make a comic of your own? And if you have a comic, like leave a link or something like that so I can see what it is and check it out. But that's my rant for today, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts were.